If your mind won't stop spinning, if anxiety hits you like a wave and you can't breathe, if overthinking is destroying you from the inside, I'm going to show you something. A technique you can do right now, sitting at your desk, in a meeting, on a train, without anyone noticing. Just your hands, your breath, 60 seconds. This isn't meditation. This isn't therapy. This is tactical self-regulation, a method inspired by traditional Japanese practices that warriors used to maintain calm when their lives depended on it. You're about to learn the hand anchor protocol, the fastest way to switch your nervous system from panic to presence. But first, like the video, subscribe to the channel. This is how you help us bring more practical warrior wisdom like this. Now, let me tell you a story. Chapter 1. The Warrior Who Couldn't Sleep. 1587. The mountain border between the two territories. Kaito sat in darkness, back against a tree, katana across his lap, eyes open, body still. He was a traveling messenger, what some called shinobi, not an assassin, a scout, someone who carried information between lords during Japan's age of war. His mission tonight was simple: wait for a signal fire from across the valley. When the fire appeared, memorize its pattern, return to his lord with the message. Simple, except his mind wouldn't stop. What if I miss the signal? What if I fall asleep? What if there's an ambush? What if the message is wrong? What if I fail? His chest felt tight, his breathing shallow, his hands clenched around the sword grip. He'd been sitting here for 4 hours. The signal would come at dawn. But he couldn't relax, couldn't let go. His mind was fixated, spinning, obsessing, imagining every possible failure. This wasn't his first mission. He'd done this 100 times. But lately, it was getting worse. The anxiety, the overthinking, the feeling of his mind turning against him. Other warriors didn't seem to struggle like this. They could sit in silence for hours, calm, present, ready. But Kaito, his mind was his worst enemy. A voice spoke from the shadows. "You're fighting yourself." Kaito's hand went to his sword. But he didn't draw. He recognized the voice, an old monk who lived in a small temple nearby. The monk stepped into the moonlight. 60 years old, thin, wearing simple robes. His name was Ryojin Sensei. "Sensei, I didn't hear you approach." "Of course not. Your mind was too loud." The monk sat down beside him. 4 hours you've been sitting here, but you haven't rested for 1 second. Your body is here. Your mind is everywhere else. Kaito looked down. "I'm waiting for the signal. I have to stay alert." "Alert? No. You're trapped. Your mind is fixated. And fixation is the opposite of alertness. It's paralysis." Kaito felt frustration rising. "Then what should I do? Stop thinking? Empty my mind?" "I've tried. It doesn't work." The monk smiled. "You can't fight the mind with the mind. You can only redirect it. And the fastest way to redirect the mind is through the body." He held up his hand. "Your hands hold more wisdom than your thoughts. Let me show you something." Chapter 2. The Truth About Energy Work. Ryojin Sensei looked at Kaito's tense face. "Tell me, have you heard of the practice some call energy healing? Reiki? Jin Shin Jyutsu?" Kaito nodded. "I've heard stories. Monks who can heal with their hands, move invisible energy. Some say it's ancient wisdom. Some say many things," the monk replied. "Let me tell you the truth. These practices aren't ancient. Jin Shin Jyutsu was developed by Jiro Murai in the early 1900s. Reiki traces back to Mikao Usui around 1922. They have roots in older ideas, yes, but they're modern systematizations." Kaito frowned. "Then why do people call them ancient?" "Because ancient sounds more impressive than 100 years old. But age doesn't determine value. What matters is, does it work? And does it?" The monk held up his hand again. "That depends on what you think is happening. Some people believe it's about moving mystical energy through the body. Others think it's pure placebo. What do you think?" "I think both camps miss the point." Ryojin Sensei placed his hand on his chest. "When you touch your body with intention and breathe with awareness, you're doing something very real. You're regulating your nervous system. You're redirecting attention. You're creating a somatic anchor. A what? Your mind can spin for hours, but your body exists only in the present moment. When you bring focused attention to physical sensation, touch, pressure, warmth, you pull your mind out of the loop. He reached over and gently held Kaito's hand. Right now, where is your attention? On. Your hand holding mine. Exactly. And in this moment, are you worrying about the signal? Kaito paused. No. That's the technique. Not energy, not magic. Just attention redirection through tactile ritual. Your hands can command your mind when your mind won't listen to reason. The monk released Kaito's hand. Some people need to believe in energy, meridians, and mystical flow. Fine, let them. But you're a warrior. You need practical tools. So I'm giving you the warrior's version. Call it what you want. Energy work, nervous system regulation, somatic grounding. The label doesn't matter. What matters is, in 60 seconds, you can shift from panic to presence using only your hands. Show me, Kaito said. Chapter 3. The Samurai Principle. Fixation versus flow. Before the monk taught the technique, he explained the principle. Kaito, why are you anxious right now? Because I can't afford to fail. The message is critical. Lives depend on it. No, that's not why you're anxious. Many warriors carry out critical missions and remain calm. The reason you're anxious is that your mind is fixated. Fixated? Yes. Your attention is locked onto one thought. What if I fail? And the more you try to push that thought away, the stronger it becomes. This is the trap. The monk picked up a small stone. Imagine your mind is a river. Normally water flows around rocks. No resistance, no struggle. But what happens when water stops flowing and becomes a pool? It stagnates. Exactly. Fixation is mental stagnation. Your mind stops flowing and locks onto one point, and that point becomes your entire reality. He tossed the stone aside. The samurai knew this. They called it stopping mind, when the mind attaches to one thing and loses its natural flow. In combat, if you fixate on your opponent's sword, you miss his footwork. If you fixate on fear, you miss the opening. So how do you stop fixation? You don't stop it by fighting it. You stop it by redirecting. The Zen principle, where attention goes, energy flows. If your attention is stuck in your head, spinning thoughts, imagined futures, past failures, then you're trapped. But if you deliberately move attention to your body, to sensation, to breath, to the feeling of your hands, then fixation breaks. Not through force, through redirection. Ryogen Sensei placed his hand on Kaito's shoulder. This is what warriors understood. Self-control isn't about willpower, it's about state switching. And the fastest way to switch states is through the body. Your mind can lie, your thoughts can spiral. But your body? Your body is always in the present moment. Your hands are always here. Your breath is always now. When the mind panics, the hands can lead you back. That's the technique I'm about to teach you. Chapter 4. The Hand Anchor Protocol. Ryogen Sensei sat cross-legged in front of Kaito. This technique has 5 steps, 60 seconds total. You can do it anywhere, anytime, even in the middle of a conversation, if you're subtle. Step 1. The long exhale, 10 seconds. First, exhale, all the way, 6 to 8 seconds. Empty your lungs. Kaito exhaled, long and slow. Good. Why do we start here? Because when you're anxious, your breathing is shallow. You're inhaling too much and not exhaling enough. Carbon dioxide builds up. Your nervous system interprets this as danger. So we reverse it. Long exhale signals safety. Step 2. The finger. Hold 30 seconds. Now, take your right hand. Gently wrap it around your left thumb. Not squeezing, not tight. Imagine you're holding a small bird, firm enough that it doesn't fly away, gentle enough that you don't hurt it. Kaito wrapped his right hand around his left thumb. Good. Now breathe. 5 full cycles. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth, and while you breathe, pay attention. To what? To where the tension is. In your jaw, your chest, your stomach, your shoulders. Don't try to relax it. Just notice it. Observe without judgment. Kaito breathed. 5 cycles. He felt tension in his chest and jaw. Good. Now switch fingers. Step 3. Switch and repeat. 30 seconds. Now hold your index finger, same way. Gentle grip. 5 breaths. Observe the tension. Kaito held his index finger. Breathed. This time, he noticed the tension in his shoulders. In the Jin Shin Jyutsu tradition, each finger corresponds to different emotions. Thumb for worry, index for fear, middle for anger, ring for sadness, pinky for effort and pretending. You can use this as a map, or you can ignore it. Either way, the technique works. Why does it work? Because you're doing 3 things simultaneously. 1. Tactile stimulation, your hands touching creates a physical anchor. 2. Rhythmic breathing, regulating your nervous system. 3. Directed attention, observing sensation, pulls your mind out of the thought loop. It's elegant, simple, and it works even if you think it's nonsense. Step 4. The palm. 10 seconds. Now, place your right palm on your chest or on your abdomen, wherever feels right. Just rest it there. Breathe once, slowly. Kaito placed his palm on his chest. Breathed. What do you feel? Warmth, pressure, my heartbeat. Good. This is the return. You've redirected your attention through your fingers. Now you're anchoring back into your body. This is you saying, I'm here. I'm present. I'm not in my thoughts. Step 5. Release 5 seconds. Now lower your hand. Open your eyes if they were closed. And notice how you feel. Kaito opened his eyes. Something had shifted. The tightness in his chest had eased. His thoughts were still there but quieter, less urgent. How do you feel? The monk asked. Different, calmer, not completely calm, but less trapped. Good, that's all we're aiming for. Not eliminating anxiety, not achieving perfect peace, just breaking the fixation, creating space, switching from panic state to present state. And you can do this anywhere, anytime. 60 seconds. Chapter 5. The Test. Kaito sat with the monk for another hour, practicing the technique, getting comfortable with the movements. Then the signal came. Across the valley, a fire appeared. 3 flashes. Long pause. 2 flashes. Pause. 1 flash. Kaito's heart jumped. This was it, the message he'd been waiting for. But immediately, his mind started spinning. Did I count right? Was it 3 or 4 flashes? What if I misremember? What if I report wrong? The familiar tightness returned to his chest. But this time, he had a tool. Kaito took a long exhale. 6 seconds. Emptying his lungs. Then he wrapped his right hand around his left thumb. Breathed. 5 cycles. Observed the tension in his jaw. Switched to his index finger. Breathed. Observed the tension in his shoulders. By the 3rd breath, the panic had eased. His mind was still active but no longer spinning. He could think clearly. He replayed the signal in his mind. 3 flashes. Long pause. 2 flashes. Pause. 1 flash. Yes, he was certain. Palm on chest. 1 breath. Return to body. He released his hand. Stood up. Ready. The monk smiled. You see? The signal didn't change. Your mission didn't become easier, but your state changed. And when your state changes, everything else changes. Kaito bowed. Thank you, Sensei. I understand now. Remember this. The technique isn't magic. It's not going to solve your problems. It's not going to make difficult things easy. But it will give you access to yourself. When your mind is in panic mode, you can't access your skills, your training, your clarity. The hand anchor brings you back online. Use it before difficult conversations. Use it when anger rises. Use it when you can't sleep because your thoughts won't stop. Use it whenever fixation traps you. Kaito nodded. I will. He left the clearing, traveled through the night, delivered the message accurately. Mission complete. But more importantly, he'd learned something that would serve him for the rest of his life. Self-control isn't about fighting yourself. It's about knowing how to redirect yourself, and your hands are the fastest tool you have. Chapter 6. When to use the hand anchor. Over the next few months, Kaito used the technique in different situations, and he discovered when it worked best. Before difficult conversations, before meeting with a lord who intimidated him, Kaito would excuse himself, find a private corner, perform the hand anchor, 60 seconds, then enter the meeting, calmer, clearer, more present. He noticed the conversation didn't become easier, but his ability to think clearly during it improved dramatically. During panic moments, one night, Kaito woke from a nightmare, heart racing, breathing fast, mind spinning with fear. Instead of lying there for hours trying to calm down, he sat up, performed the hand anchor. 60 seconds. The panic didn't disappear completely, but it became manageable. He could breathe. He could think. He fell back asleep within minutes. When anger rises, Kaito was betrayed by someone he trusted. His first instinct was rage. He wanted to confront them immediately, loudly, violently. But he remembered the monk's teaching. When emotion floods you, your mind stops flowing. You become fixated, and fixation makes you do things you regret. So Kaito stepped outside, performed the hand anchor. 60 seconds. The anger was still there, but it was no longer controlling him. He could feel it without acting on it. He confronted the person later, calmly, clearly, and resolved the situation without making it worse. During overthinking spirals, the technique worked especially well for overthinking. Those moments when your mind spins the same thoughts over and over, analyzing, worrying, imagining worst-case scenarios. Kaito learned, you can't stop overthinking by trying to stop thinking, but you can interrupt the loop by redirecting attention to your body. Thumb hold, breathe, observe. The thoughts don't disappear, but the grip loosens. You get space between you and the thoughts, and in that space, clarity emerges. At work, during long tasks. Kaito also used a modified version during long periods of work. Every hour, he'd pause, hold one finger, 5 breaths, return to the task. He noticed his focus improved, his mind was less scattered. The simple act of checking in with his body prevented the slow buildup of mental tension that usually led to exhaustion. This is the beauty of the hand anchor. It's not just for crisis moments. It's a tool you can integrate into daily life, a way to maintain presence throughout the day instead of letting tension accumulate. Do you see the pattern? The technique doesn't eliminate difficulty. It gives you access to yourself during difficulty, and that makes all the difference. Chapter 7. The Warrior Truth. Years later, Kaito returned to the mountain temple. He found Ryogen Sensei exactly where he'd left him. Sensei, I've been using the hand anchor for 5 years now. It's changed my life, but I need to understand something. What? Is it really just attention redirection? Or is there something more? Something mystical? The monk smiled. What do you think? I think it doesn't matter. Whether it's energy meridians or nervous system regulation, the result is the same. I can shift my state in 60 seconds. That's what matters. Good answer. The monk nodded. But let me add something. The technique works on multiple levels. Physiologically, you're stimulating pressure points that influence your vagus nerve, your body's main relaxation pathway. Psychologically, you're creating a pattern interrupt that breaks fixation loops. Neurologically, you're engaging your sensory cortex, which quiets your default mode network, the the part of your brain responsible for rumination. So, it's all scientific. Science can explain mechanisms, but science didn't create this. Humans discovered through centuries of practice that certain rituals calm the mind. We formalize those rituals into systems. Systems like Jin Shin Jyutsu, systems like Reiki, systems like the hand anchor. Some people will tell you it's ancient wisdom from 3,000 years ago. That's an exaggeration. Some will tell you it's a pure placebo. That's reductionism. The truth is somewhere in between. What matters is this. You now have a tool, a practical, physical tool that requires no equipment, no special location, no belief system. Just your hands, your breath. 60 seconds. Use it, teach it, adapt it, make it your own. Kaito bowed deeply. Thank you, Sensei, for giving me control when my mind was out of control. I didn't give you control. I just showed you where it was. Control was always in your hands. You just didn't know how to access it. The monk stood. Now go. And remember, the mind will panic. That's its nature. But the body can lead you back. Every single time. Your practice. So let me ask you directly. When was the last time your mind spiraled? When anxiety hit? When you couldn't stop thinking? When anger took over? When panic made it hard to breathe? What if you had a tool for those moments? Not a cure, not a magic fix, but a reliable way to shift your state in 60 seconds? That's what I just gave you. The hand anchor protocol. Let me walk you through it one more time. Right now. While you're watching this video, try it with me. 1. Long exhale. 6 seconds. Empty your lungs. Do it now. 2. Wrap your right hand around your left thumb. Gentle grip, like holding a bird. Breathe. 5 cycles. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. While you breathe, notice where the tension is. Jaw, chest, shoulders. Just observe. 3. Switch to your index finger. Same thing. Gentle grip. 5 breaths. Observe the sensation. 4. Palm on chest or abdomen. Just rest it there. 1 slow breath. Feel the warmth, the pressure, your heartbeat. 5. Release. Lower your hand. Notice how you feel. That's it. 60 seconds. Simple, practical, effective. Now here's your practice. The next time you feel anxiety rising before a difficult conversation, during a panic moment, when your mind won't stop spinning, do this. Just once. 60 seconds. And then come back and tell me what happened. Write in the comments, I practiced the hand anchor, and tell me when you used it and what you noticed. Because this isn't theory. This is practical. This is something you can use today, right now, in the next moment of difficulty. Remember what Ryogen Sensei taught Kaito. The mind will panic. That's its nature. But the body can lead you back. Every single time. Your hands hold more wisdom than your thoughts. Use them. If this video helped you, subscribe to Presence and Purpose for more practical warrior wisdom that builds mental strength and emotional control. And share this with someone who needs it. Someone who's struggling with anxiety, overthinking, or panic. Because sometimes the best thing you can give someone isn't advice. It's a tool. Walk with presence. Train with purpose. Stay grounded.